All right. We got both of them up. You got your Audacity going?
I don't know how to start it. How do
Just hit record.
the
Top,
red button?
yeah,
Record.
it's like the big red
Okay.
button.
I think it's recording now. I see the
You
thing
should see
going.
your green bar go up.
Yeah,
and
I
pop.
see my voice. Yep.
Nice. Yeah, you'll be able to hear it later and you can like edit it and stuff later too.
Mm-hmm. I don't think it picks up on your voice, does it?
It should, depending on the speakers. If you're doing a headset, then maybe not. But I could just use mine if you wanted to, and I could save it in our folder.
Okay. Yeah, because when you're talking, it doesn't show any like waves on there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's showing, yeah, because yours will pick up on the microphone too.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm way out of the Zoom. Oh boy. So welcome everyone. We're just figuring out our lives here and our microphone setup, or at least
Yeah. A little bit of technical difficulties.
Yeah, but hey, as long as you can hear us, we're happy with that, because we got some super valuable information. You don't want to miss it. This is the Lean Athlete Lifestyle Show. I'm here with my head coach, Zorig. What up, Zorig?
Yeah, hello. What's up?
Not much. Zorig was just scolding me because I had 1 hour less sleep last night than I should, and he was just giving me crap. But I agree, sleep is super important. We kind of felt the midday crash. I didn't have my copper today. Didn't have my shiitake mushrooms to increase my copper levels.
Yeah, I love shiitake mushrooms, man.
Oh,
very low calories.
Yeah, so good. You can just add them to pretty much anything. Right?
Yeah.
Cool, man. How's your day been?
Pretty good, you know. I'm gonna do some work on Instagram a little bit later. I've lined up some people to message and stuff like that.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
He's got a plan. Man with the plan.
Yeah. How about you? You got a busy day?
Yeah, I'm going over to a client's place after this.
Oh yeah, you were saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got a Spartan race coming up this Saturday, which is like called the Ultra. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if I told you what the Ultra is, but it's like it's supposed to last about 12 to like 15 hours.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and so he's climbing up literally a mountain, and I don't know how much elevation gain. I think it's like can't be 8,000 meters. I don't know. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. So we've been working together for the past 6 months, just like building up his capillaries, helping them, produce more oxygen to his muscles and all that stuff. So yeah, gonna head over there later, make sure he's got everything all in place. And then after that, probably just gonna take it easy. It's been a crazy day of working out with the other guy on this camera.
Yep. Yeah, we did some quads, core and calves today.
We sure did. The Q's and C's.
Yeah, basically.
And then we did some posing together, which was awesome.
Yeah, you really got your transition down at the end there, so pretty happy about that.
Yeah, and I think the last video you took of it, I posted that onto Instagram.
Yeah, so, yeah, that was the best run we had with your routine.
Woo! So it's cool to know what that looks like too.
Mm-hmm.
So if you all don't know, Zorig is helping me with a physique show, bodybuilding show coming up here in Calgary, May 21st. So we got just over 2 weeks to perfect our stuff, and then it's freedom after that.
Yeah, basically you get to eat whatever you want for a couple of days, and then reverse diet you out. Yeah. So hopefully we're going to keep on a lot of your leanness, probably go back to the stage that way you feel like you're comfortable working out hard and stuff. Like, how do you feel with your joints and stuff right now?
Yeah, that's actually a good question. Joints are pretty good, actually. I remember when I did my first photo shoot and I got down to pretty low body fat percentage. The week of and the week leading up to it, it's just my camera here. You're right. I did feel it 100% in my joints. Like it just felt feeble and weak and whatever. So, no, but this time has been really good. It's everything's been staying pretty healthy. Like my back was kind of giving me grief the other day, but yeah, I don't know. That could have happened regardless. Maybe, I don't know. But no, joints been feeling pretty good.
That's good. Yeah, you just want to watch out for the joints getting too crazy. And like a week out, probably you're not going to be doing any crazy workouts, just like more like pump workouts. You're not going to be getting any stronger at that point since you've been on a calorie deficit for such a long time.
Yeah.
So that's what a lot of people do. They just kind of do like pump workouts to just really deplete that glycogen a week out. So
Cool. Oh yeah, deplete glycogen and then like refill it kind of thing.
yeah, refill it.
Yeah.
Kind of like priming your body to intake glycogen. So when you're fully depleted and you use that muscle, it it compensates and then it's primed in a state that you can actually give it carbs and it'll fill back up. So that'll be the peak week protocol that we do for you. So we're going to start feeding you a little bit more carbs leading up into the show. So probably nothing too much.
Yeah.
Because like you don't want to be feeding yourself like 3 days in a row. Okay. That's really for people who are like, 230 pounds lean plus, like really, really big bodybuilders. So for men's physique guys like us, we don't need that much to really fill us up. But it depends on how your metabolism uses it. I know lots of natural guys, they go through like 600, 700 grams of carbs 2 days in a row and they're not full yet. But that's really if you really push like the depletion stages really far.
Right.
Then that happens.
Yeah, it's a good point because like I'm doing all this naturally. I don't want to push it too much or whatever with anything with drugs or anything that's enhancing, I should say.
Yeah.
Not my style. Whether that be the case for the future, I don't know. I mean, obviously we'll see how the show goes, but I'm pretty hopeful that it'll go pretty well, I think.
Yeah. Well, honestly, man, like at your age, like if you wanted to get into the enhanced side of bodybuilding, you should have started it a lot sooner. So I think it's kind of that ship has kind of sailed. You know what I mean?
Too late.
Like, yeah, you don't want to be doing a bunch of drugs when you're when you're a little bit later in the 30s and stuff like that. That just becomes a lot more riskier.
Well, I think I think what I just mean is I think that I'll probably start to do some sort of like hormone therapy when I'm older, like maybe I don't know, whenever my testosterone levels start to drop quite a bit.
Yeah, just do your blood work and like get a doctor to monitor you and everything should be good.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, but no, I don't think I'll do it for any kind of show stuff. So
yeah,
if I do another one, cool. If not, then this is
it's a good challenge, man. Like, I think everyone like who's looking to compete should do a show naturally. I hate it when I see people just hopping into a show. They're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do a show, I'm gonna start using steroids, and like right away, like 9 out of 10 people competing do that, which is unfortunate, but
really? Yeah, there was something I watched on YouTube. It was I can't remember what it was called, but it was about these people who like had differences in ingredients of like fitness stuff. And I think they were all personal trainers, and then so there was maybe about 10 of them, and then 8 of them all were on performance enhancing drugs, and then the rest, the 2 of them weren't. So a big population. And I mean, obviously, if they're to pick hundreds or thousands, it might be different, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, everyone wants to look, and everyone, I mean, also you feel good too when you take that stuff as well properly.
Well, yeah, it's like you feel good, then you start to feel like shit because you can't stay on forever. Like for people who are like who have done it, you don't get to stay on it forever. So you get to have a time period where you're coming off it, that you actually feel like shit. Your testosterone level's low because your body doesn't produce natural testosterone anymore. And your estrogen goes up, so you're aromatized more, and then it just creates a bunch of shitty things. You know what I mean?
Seriously, yeah. Super estrogen goes up.
Yeah.
So what's the difference? Like, I know this is not really a topic. I think we have a topic today. Anyways,
I think we said habits. I guess this is habits.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, the habit of using drugs. But like, yeah, the difference. Okay, like people talk about like taking testosterone supplements, I guess it is. Like I haven't looked into this very closely, especially not as far as you have. But and then there's also like steroid stuff. Like what's the difference? I'm actually genuinely curious. Like, what's the difference between like taking testosterone and like there's stuff beyond that, right?
Yeah, there's a bunch of different things. So there's basically 3 big families. So there's testosterone derivatives, and there's something called dihydrotestosterone derivatives, also known as DHT derivatives, and there's another family called the 19-nor family. So that is 3 different families of steroids, and each one has probably around 5 to 8 different compounds that you can use. So there's 3 different things, and then there's 5 things that derived from testosterone. So testosterone, there's like different types of testosterone you can take, and the different types of DHT you can take and stuff like that. So when you say steroids, it's just like there's probably like 50 different drugs out there you can take in terms of steroids. But like the main thing, a lot of people, well, most people, if you're gonna do, you know, like obviously I don't want people to do steroids, but like if you were to do steroids, most people start with testosterone. It's a bioidentical hormone. So it's not going to have crazy side effects and stuff like that. So most people start off there.
Right.
So that's why it's kind of known as like the father steroid, and it's relatively safe as long as it's monitored by a doctor. So
Gotcha.
no one should be doing this without the guidance of a doctor.
Yeah, for sure. And actually, I had one of my clients ask me, and he's actually the age of 16, and you know, he's a pretty simple guy. He doesn't have too many questions, but one of his questions he had was because his friends were using it in high school with him, not with him. They were using it in high school he goes to, and he was genuinely kind of curious as to like, you know, should I be using it? And it's like, this guy's, you know, one of the top benchers in his school. So, you know, to add steroids to the mix probably wouldn't be necessary at this point.
No, definitely not. Especially if you're 16 years old and like you have so much room to grow. You have no need for that.
Like, he's pretty much at his peak and still
100%
years. Yeah.
Like, for example, for me, like I'm obviously open about my use. I'm trying to be an IFBB pro. And to do that, then you have to obviously dabble into testosterone and things like that. For me, I trained naturally, consistently, without missing more than 3 days for 7 years before I touched anything.
Right.
So like everyone should try to like learn the diet, the nutrition before they try to use anything to enhance your performance. So
yeah. No, that's good. Diet's usually first. Yeah, exactly.
You can do so much with just diet and nutrition, man. Like I built a pretty good physique naturally, and people were like, "Oh yeah, like you competed, and I assume you're not natural." I'm like, "No, I was natural at that show." And they're like, "What? Really? Like that's possible?"
The nutrition, yeah. So back from Missouri. So he's a national physique competitor here in Canada. So your first show, you got in first place, right?
Yeah, I placed first in my class, and then I qualified for me for nationals, which I went to the next year, and then they canceled the show.
COVID.
because of COVID.
Yeah, shitty. But I mean, hey, you looked good, and
yeah, I looked good. You know, take some pictures, but I didn't actually take any pictures like when I was super lean, because I was so mad that the show was canceled, and then I just went and binge ate like
disappointment.
13 burgers and 20 Timbits in one day, and then
there you go.
Puked that later that night.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Yeah, it was not a fun experience, but I did enjoy the food. I love food, you know, like all the sweets and stuff.
Yeah, and so again, like he's training me for this show, but you know, my background essentially is more, you know, based in the lifestyle, and I have worked with athletes before, and I enjoy that a lot. But I do enjoy, like, you know, I don't want to say it all now, but like I do enjoy trying to figure out what someone's going through right now and like dive deep into their lifestyle. And to me, it's a challenge for me because I end up, you know, having to work with everyone's different environment. It's not like cookie cutter approach where it's like, okay, well, you know, just follow this and it'll be good. Like, yeah, you could, but you know, how long are you going to hold that for?
You definitely work with a wide spectrum of people. Like for me, it's usually like, you know, guys looking to compete, or, you know, like trying to bodybuild and things like that. So I have a very like set
that's good
niche. And then for you're like, you know, like the other day when we were at the gym, like I showed you my running, and you're like, your running needs work, you know, because like I was so focused in learning how to bodybuild, learning about mind-muscle connection and the things that you have to do to move in alignment with your body and things like that, that I have never paid attention to the sports side of things, which I think you have a lot more experience on. And like you were coaching my even rowing a little bit too. So
performance-based stuff, I guess, is more the background, but that stemmed a lot through Orange Theory and everything, because like I had clinics and running clinics, rowing clinics, TRX clinics and stuff. So Yeah, I guess that was kind of more, looking at people's form that way as they were performing live. But, as far as bodybuilding goes, that was kind of new to me. And I always claimed that I knew how bodybuilding worked, even though there's a whole world that I don't have no idea of, obviously.
Yeah, that usually happens.
Yeah. So, and then I did a photo shoot and I'm like, oh yeah, I got this. And yeah, even afterwards, I'm still like learning a ton. But anyways, we should probably get to our topic. That was actually a good tangent. I like that a lot.
Yeah, that was a big tangent we went off on.
Yeah, so that's good though. So basically, yeah, in today's topic, I do want to talk about habits. I did finish a book recently called Tiny Habits. That one, it was good. It's funny because it was such a long chaptered book. Like it's just like tiny, really? You have to read all this much to get all the tiny use out of it. But it was cool. It did teach me a lot. And then now I'm listening to an audiobook called Atomic Habits. And I like that one a lot. It seems like it does have a small scientific approach, but yet it's very relatable to a lot of different things. And it's funny that this is the topic today because I've been putting off that instrument behind me there for probably a solid 2 months. And I think it's just because it's overwhelming to like play something and be bad at it. But in the Atomic Habits book, what it kind of says is, okay, just play it for 2 minutes and set a timer. And once that timer is up, you're done. And I love that. So I picked it up today and I looked at a YouTube video and I just kind of played 2 minutes on my own with it. And that was it. And it felt like nothing. And I think what I really learned from the book so far is whenever you're trying to formulate something new in your life or a habit that's difficult or you don't understand it very well, I would say you have to start off with it being like 2 minutes of it. And that's it. And then set a timer and do it. If you have a bad habit of making your bed or cleaning your room, set a timer of 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever. And then that's your max, and then stop from there. And then of course, that makes it easier to do. The more you can make something easier to do, the more you're able to get better at it because you have more motivation to do something that's easy. But on top of that too, like have a reward system. Like you must, if you're shitty at something or you're trying to, gain more strength in an area you feel weaker, reward system needs to be there. You need to start giving yourself permission. And then I cleaned my whole place today. And I could have kept going, but I wanted to reward myself when I vacuumed and put all my files away. So I grabbed a Diet Coke, and that was my reward. I could have kept going and going and going, but I'm like, you know what? No, there needs to be some sort of like, this feels good, dopamine effect.
Yeah,
what I did, right?
Yeah, I think I do that sometimes with myself when I have to do things I don't want to do. Like like for example, like I have to write something like that for work or something like that, like kind of tedious work. Then I'll be like, hey, like if I do this, then like I like playing video games. Like, hey, I'm gonna play for an hour today. First thing I have to do is to finish whatever I have to do on my to-do list. So I'll look at my to-do list, I'll look at everything. Okay, if I finish this today, I get to play. If I don't, that means I don't get to play. So I'm like, hey, let's get it, like
you have more reason to do it because you
it.
want to play video games.
Yeah, so that reward system, I think, definitely can be a good thing. Like obviously the video games can be something that's like detrimental to your productivity and things like that. But if you use it in that way, I definitely think it could be something that's beneficial for your professional or personal life, whatever you're happy, right?
100%, yeah. And I mean, I struggled with content creation, like putting up posts and putting up stories and doing what I do on social media. But I just developed the habits. And even today, I think I told you the gym today, but I was going to do a post or I was going to watch a show called Moon Knight. So good.
Yeah, I remember.
But instead, what did I do instead? I think I just like scanned through social media a little bit afterwards, which is somewhat enjoyable sometimes. But I just took a little break. I had the idea that I was going to watch the show, so it gave me motivation to put the post up. So yeah. But basically, like, apparently habits are kind of like yielding onto a highway. Like it's the pathway to get to a destination, to get to a place. Like you're not necessarily there. It's setting yourself up for having future success, if that makes sense. Like it's the entry point for it. It's not the actual habit itself, as far as I understand it. So you always want to backtrack when you are formulating a new habit. So say you want to run, let's say 5 miles. Running 5 miles is difficult. And so you're not going to start there. You're going to start going back to, okay, I'm just going to run 1 mile. But even before you start to do that, you start with tying your shoe. Like tying your shoe is pretty easy, right? That's the first habit that you would approach to running those 5 miles. You work backwards all the way to the beginning, tying your shoes. For me, it's funny because when I was going to play the guitar, and I felt resistance, I was like, okay, I'm just going to tune it. And then I go to tune it. Like I have an app on my phone that has.
You do the minimal. Yeah.
Huh?
You do the minimal basically.
I was going to, yeah, totally. Yeah. And my guitar was already tuned. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess I gotta do something else now. So I just played 2 minutes of whatever and celebrated, every good note that I played. But yeah, backtracking, playing a song would be difficult, or a new song. And then, playing notes, warming up on a guitar, those are all facts that you work backwards to. But me tuning the guitar is like the first easiest step that I can do. Right. That's as far as I see it, at least. So yeah, that's somewhere else written down here. And again, like it is better to do something than to do nothing at all, right?
Yeah.
Because the practice of it, the repeating movement of it, and the motor skills you create from it.
Yeah. So what about like bad habits? Like how do you like address that?
Yeah, extinguish them or whatever. Yeah. So what I've told some clients before, and I don't know all the answers to this, but like you kind of scale your entire day. And this is like kind of the first step is, and then you list out all the things you do. You wake up, what do? You look at your phone. What do? You go to the bathroom, weigh yourself, brush your teeth, shower, like all those things throughout the whole day. And you rate where they are, negative habit or positive habit. And then as you're rating them, you can be like, well, okay, I want to start to change that.
Yeah, in the morning I definitely just look at my phone and I don't want to go get up and do cardio because I'm doing cardio every morning right now.
Oh yeah.
And then get up, I'm like, I'll just look at my phone for 5 minutes, and then 5 minutes turns into 10, then 15.
But you still do the cardio, right?
Well, I still do it, but it takes me like 15 minutes to get there.
Okay.
So I want to like get to the point where I get up and I like just, I don't know, like I check my emails and everything like that, maybe take 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I'll just get on the cardio right away.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and like you can kind of catch yourself as you do write it down because it's being like more cognizant. And
I think that helps, like writing things down.
Yeah.
Like when you're just doing something and it's become a habit, it's so hard to like kind of like identify that. So when you write down everything you do in a day, and then you just like, you see, you're like, hey, every morning when I wake up, I'm looking at my phone for 15 minutes. Like I'm losing so much time there. So when you just said that, I realized I'm like, hey, what do I get up? I get up, I look at my phone, and then I drink my coffee, then I do my cardio. So there's like a bad habit, there's good, and then good habit. So I could make that bad habit a little bit less because like I hate missing like emails and stuff. So that's like the only reason I check it.
Yeah. So you kind of clear the inbox. Yeah. No.
Like check everything, make sure everyone's workouts are scheduled for the day, like I hate, like I remember a couple of times when we first started, like there's like no workout schedule. I'm like, oh fuck, like I hated that feeling,
Yeah, I know. No, it happens to me too. Like I think one of our clients as well, their workouts weren't showing up, but they were showing up for me. Yeah, there's technological things are tough. Now, the best way to, I think, create a new habit that you want to create that obviously you probably define as positive is to integrate it to what you're already doing in your life. So what do you do every day? Okay, so you go to the bathroom, you weigh yourself. Well, you can always do something after you do that as far as creating that new habit because it's already integrated to your life. in the book Tiny Habits, there's 3 different contexts for it. Well, 3 different methods of it. The first one is relying on your memory, which is shit. Like there is someone I was supposed to message like 2 days ago, and I totally forgot about doing it until today. So like those things I still do. The second is the context, or not the context one, the technological type of prompts. And that you can store on your phone. The problem with that is, though, if it shows up as a reminder, you're at the grocery store, you're doing something else that's important, you'll put that off and you'll completely forget about it until later. The best type of prompts are the ones that are actually defined as context prompts. And those ones are the ones that you integrate into what you're already doing. You know, going to the washroom, or maybe closing your laptop, right? You do that if you're working at an office or you're on the go at a coffee shop. Maybe you won't do push-ups at the coffee shop. You close your laptop or you turn off your computer, then there's the new habit that already gets prompted. It's already like ingrained in there, and you just keep continuing with it. And then one thing too, I think that's important is identity. So identifying who you are, you know, like you and I were like, oh, I want to go to the gym to get better. It's like, well, maybe identify as I'm an athlete, or like I'm a musician, as opposed to being like, I'm going to learn the guitar. So as you already like feel that you are that already in the future, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That will
kind of visualize it into existence type of thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Exactly. And then, yeah, just start with something. Oh, here's a cool tip. Sorry. Things just keep popping in my head. So there was a group that was trying to get their creativeness out through taking pictures. So one group, they were the ones who were looking for just the quality. That was it. And there was another group that was looking for just more the quantity. Now, what happened was the group that was looking for all of the quality, they were perfecting every single little detail. They were like, oh no, what if we needed the lighting to be this way? What if we need this to be that way? And they came up with one image that they actually didn't get much of the practice in the foundation to create that image. Whereas the group that was looking for more quantity of shots, like playing around with different filters for each of the shots, they actually produced more and got better than the group that was looking for more quality.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Because they had more practice of imperfection than the group that was looking for the
perfect. I can definitely speak to that, because like whenever I do things, I always want it to be perfect. Yeah. You know, like, so I'm like, oh, okay, so I want everything to be perfect, and then that just makes it a lot longer process versus just doing things maybe like 8 out of 10 good and then getting more experience. I think definitely was like with posts, right? Like before I would like only want to post pictures that look like amazing, you know, so I'd wait until I'm like 3 weeks out of a show, I'm super lean, then I'll post a photo. But now I'm just like, hey, like, I'm just going to post as much educational things as I can, because I think that's the main thing that I can help people on, is like my knowledge in terms of working out and everything. Like I see in the gym, I see so many people still to this day do so many things wrong. So I feel like I'm looking around like, hey, like this is something that people need more. And before, in the past, I would have been like, hey, like I want to make like a super professional video explaining every single thing about that aspect. So if it's a back pulling exercise, I want to explain everything about the back pulling exercise.
And if you miss something, it's like, oh crap, yeah, I know.
Yeah, that makes me like, you know, like, oh, it's not a good post. But versus now, I'm just like, hey, I'm just gonna give like 2 tips, 3 tips. I'm just gonna make a video, and then that's been working a lot better. And just like it makes it a lot more realistic too, because it's not as hard.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and you also like take the pressure off a little bit too, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I remember when I first really actually started to look for people to help online. I think it was in 2020, right before all the shit went down with COVID. And there was one post where like my spelling was off, and someone called me on it, and then like, you know, your typical reaction is like, oh my god, no one's gonna respect the work I do. But I was like, you know what, screw it, you know, let's just keep it there and see what the hell happens. Because, and then, you know, now look at where things are. If I had held back and taken only perfect action, I probably wouldn't be where I am today, you know, enjoying things and working with you and all the goodness of life, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, cool. I think we could probably wrap it up from there.
Yeah, I think those are definitely good tips. Like I literally learned something from that, you know, like I'm gonna not look at my phone in the morning for 15 minutes.
Yeah,
Maybe
right.
just check my emails, that's it. And then, you know,
Yeah.
like for my posts, you know, like make sure I just get something out, like that's good information. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Right.
So that can apply to a lot of different things, right? Like I think with diet and stuff, I think everyone wants their diet to be absolutely perfect when they start something, but like halfway better than what you were before is still better than before.
100%, 100%. And you can always change things later too. You know, there was a
Yeah.
company that had their program called Scrawny to Brawny. But then of
They
course,
rebranded, right? They
right,
changed their name.
exactly, like years later and stuff. So if you think that, you know, it has to be exactly that way forever, it doesn't.
Yeah, definitely agree with you, man.
And then two, one more point as well is I think I mentioned this as well in my post today, is like a lot of us get a dopamine hit as soon as we talk and anticipate something that's good coming up. But when the actual event comes, sometimes it's lackluster because the hit of dopamine wasn't as high as you actually being there. So it's falling in love with the process, really, that's gonna, you know, seriously make sure that things stick.
Yeah, 100%.
Again, reward yourself after you do the small stuff, like you're training a dog. Like it's the exact same thing with us, you know. But
yeah, I think that's super important what you said, like falling in love with the process, you know, like
yeah,
I know we're all chasing like an end goal, but like enjoying the process is probably the best thing you can do for yourself. Because the reason I worked out for 7 years being consistent is because I loved it. You know, I love training, I loved working out, I love seeing results. So that's the only reason, that's literally the only reason I was able to do it for that long, because I enjoyed it.
Enjoyed the process. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's true happiness, I think. I think
100%.
And I know a lot of people as well who I know struggle with this. They're like, oh, you know, if I can get to this place, if I can be, you know, close to the mountains. I'm not talking about myself. I'm I am close to the mountains. I'm very happy, but there are people that, you know, still had that happen to them and they're still, you know, trying to find that happiness. And I do think that it comes down to the structures and systems you have in place for getting to another goal. I think goals are important. Don't get me wrong. Like setting something that's setting the bar high for yourself is important, but it's the systems that, you know, take you through the journey that really, really resonate with stuff. So
definitely.
But yeah, so I mean, again, with our program, you know, the Fit Addicts group is the Lean Athlete Blueprint program. It is more based on setting up systems that are going to work for you specifically. So it's not going to be a cookie cutter program like we talked about. We want to make sure that each individual is taken care of at a personal level. And I mean, that's why we don't take on a lot of people. And we did sell out, you know, leading up into a few days ago, which was May 1st. And again, we don't want to take on a whole bunch of people. It's kind of like more cohort, and we can literally just kind of dive deep into what those people are doing.
Yeah, the quality of service would not be as good. Like we hold ourselves to a high quality of service.
100%. And we're still growing. We're still elevating to that next level because, again, like here's another thing too that I think will resonate with a lot of people is a lot of times we'll think, oh, if we take the easy way out, we're weaker, but not necessarily, because if you happen to take a more convenient route that allows you to center your energy onto other things, you're way better off, in my opinion. So, I mean, that being said, we're actually pretty filled up until the next few weeks here and everything like that, but definitely do check us out on Instagram. Mine is at Fitnatics. Zorig, which one's yours again?
Yeah, at Zorigb, Zorigb.
There you go. He's got really good content on there. If you want to check us out on TikTok, feel free. And then we're going to post in the Fit After 30 Facebook group as well. But that's a wrap. I got to take off to client's place. Zorig, thanks for tuning in, my man.
Yeah, welcome, man.
See you guys next week.
All right.